all so much for being here at Harmony Spiritual Center. This is a place that we come to learn, to grow, to be in community together. It's just such a wonderful place, and I'm so glad and so proud of all of you for the work that you do. I know that it's work all the time. We never, I mean, you can rest on your laurels, but then we're not moving to where we want to be. We're constantly here to expand. Life is great. It's always the spirit, the universe is always calling forth more and more and more. And we think we've done everything, and there's more to do for you. It's not about the rest of the world. It's really about you, and the rest of the world will benefit from what you do. But it's all about being who you are. So thank you so much for being here and being a part of that. So last week, the talk was whatever the name it was. And it's always just about, just showing up as yourself, just showing up as you. And the themes are not different. I may give it a different title, but the themes are the same because it really is about you. This week I'm talking about be all in. Be all in. And that just simply means always showing up as you. There are so many opportunities to show up as something else, to show up as less, because the world is always telling you who you're supposed to be and how you're supposed to be in a particular situation. And we don't do that. Whoever we is, whatever we group that thinks that you belong to them. Like, we don't do that. That's women, blacks, whatever, whoever. New Thought, someone's always trying to tell you that. But the thing is that who you are is for you to decide. How you want to show up is for you to decide. You have a right to be all in and to be who you are in everything you do, everywhere you go. That's the joy of being here. That is what the Spirit has put you here for, as the unique individual that you are, to show up as you, to be you. And so what happens for us a lot is that we just get comfortable. That's the human condition. We get comfortable with something. We know how this works. And so we don't really, something is calling us forward. We're like, I don't really know how that's going to work, but I know how this works. So I'm going to sit here for a minute. And I'm not going to be all in. And I shared with you stories of my travels, and when I had decided that I really wanted to know Spirit more, and I call him George when I'm talking with him, or when I need something immediately. George, what's this all about? And it's just a word for me that calls it in, so I can hear from Spirit very quickly. And I was overseas with my husband, and I wasn't really happy. I didn't feel like I was doing what I was supposed to be doing, and I was missing my music. I was a singer. I was missing my music, and I shared this with you all before. And so I told Spirit that I wanted to sing. I wanted to have a band. I wanted a band to make money, so it wasn't just a hobby that my husband had to pay for. It actually paid for itself, and so that happened. I moved over. We were in Saigon at the time. I moved to Thailand and really put a band together. And we were the #1 band. Everyone called upon us. We were wedding bands. We sang at resorts. We sang at festivals. We sang everywhere, blues festivals. We sang everywhere. We traveled. We did all of that, and I loved it. I was all in because it's what I asked for. But at some point, I stopped being all in. It became a habit for me just to go up and show up. And I wasn't as happy as I had been when I first started. It was what I asked for. I had it. I had what I asked for. And yet I was starting to show up as a habit of showing up. And I wasn't excited anymore. And the band was pissing me off. There's that P word. I had my drummer, okay, the drummer. He was, we were very international. I was American. I had an Italian in there. I had an Australian, an Asian, and a Thai. So we were all international, and my drummer was Italian. And we would go someplace, and I would tell him, this is where we're going. And I was the manager, and I was getting the gigs and singing. And so he'd come to me and goes, hey, Pjae, we're going to wherever we were going. And I said, yes, we're going there. He goes, do I need to bring the drums? Seriously? You're the drummer, right? I think you should bring the drums. Yeah, I'm thinking that's the case, yeah. So these are the kind of questions I was getting. I'm like, oh man, I'm starting to feel like I'm a babysitter here. And then I just thought about it, and what what ends up happening is one of the things that you're starting to get on autopilot, and you're starting not to really appreciate where you are. And part of that is because it may be time for something else to happen, for more to come in. And that's part of the journey, I think, as something else is ending. It starts just it's not as great as it was before. Nothing has changed. I'm doing music, I'm loving it, I'm getting paid for it, but something has changed in me. And that's a clue. That's part of the clue. So when you find yourself not all in, there's a couple of things you could ask yourself. What is this? Am I just making a habit of it? Am I just so used to it that I'm not bringing myself to it? Or is it that there's something else calling me forward that maybe I'm afraid of? Maybe I'm afraid of. Fear shows up that way. It shows up as if you don't really care about something. But the fact is there's something greater calling you, or just different. It's time for you to move, and you don't want to. Because, again, creatures of habit. This I know how to do, but I'm not doing it well. I'm not doing it well anymore. And so at some point, I finally go, you know what? I don't want to be halfway in. I need to really be all the way in. And so this is finished. For whatever reason, it was finished. And I had to own that. You know what, Pjae? Seems like this is finished. And what was going on was I was missing my family. I was missing the U.S. I was missing a lot of things that I wanted to move towards. And that would mean leaving the band behind. And so that's what was happening for me. But I finally owned up to that. So this is what I'm saying to you. Be all in. Be where you're supposed to be. And maybe where you're supposed to be has changed from where you are now. And that's something you can look at and go, why am I no longer in when I know I love doing this? What's calling me forward? And be courageous enough to look at that. And just ask George, what's happening? Why is this no longer making me happy? Bringing me joy? What's going on? And this is a favorite question that I ask myself and I share with you guys. What's mine to do now? What's mine to do? We assume that what's mine to do is what I've been doing. But if we are expansive, if Spirit is always showing us a greater and greater self, or greater and greater to be, you can ask that question, what's next, and not be afraid. Because when you ask what's next, Spirit's not going to say, well, it's that. Zip it. And not say anything else. Spirit's not going to do that. She's going to say, here's what's calling you, and here's how you're going to move forward. And not here's how you're going to move forward 10 steps. Here's how you're going to move forward 1 step. Only gives you 1. And I have a thought about that. I feel like Spirit only gives you the 1 step, because if He gave you all 10, you'd run screaming in the night. Like, what? That's never going to happen. Are you kidding me? So Spirit gives you the 1 step. Get comfortable with that. Then it shows you the next step until you get all the way to what Spirit wanted to reveal. Okay? That's what happens. So just know that. That's what life is about. And that's what being all in is about. You all know, and I share with you, my life is out here. I don't hide it. You all know who I am. You all know what I've done. You know my humanity. I was raised around the military, so I curse a lot. And it's so funny to me when I'm around people who know I'm a minister and they try to watch their mouth, and I say, oh, honey, you don't need to worry about that. That is the least of your problems. Least of your problems. Don't worry about that. And so I'm in Thailand, and because I was there with my husband, and we both came to the same conclusion at the same time. Our time here is up. It's time to go. He was still in the same thing. And so we left. But the other reason that Spirit had me moving back to the U.S., because not only was my time up in Thailand, my time was up in this relationship with my husband. And if I hadn't moved, I would have been there by myself when he made the move. And I knew the time was up because I stopped being all in that relationship. I stopped being all in. I am not a person, when I decide to be in a relationship with someone, my children, a loved one, friends, family, I am all in. So I think about you. Oh, I think they'd like this. I'm like, Carter, Carter's always calling me, hey, PJ, I was over here and I found this great dress. Do you want that? Or you got to get over here quick. She's always thinking about what might look good. And that's what we all do. That's what we love each other. Pat's always giving me shoes. I mean, there's always you guys bringing me stuff, cookies, thank you. Love this group. And so that's what you do when you love people, right? You're thinking about them. You're someplace and you think, oh, I think so-and-so would love this, so-and-so would love that, so-and-so would love this. And so that's what I did, and I stopped doing that. Not only did I stop doing those things, thinking about the things that would make my husband happy or that he might enjoy or that might be good for him, I would say things in my mind like, well, he won't do it for me, so I'm not doing it for him. So now I'm not even being myself. I'm in a relationship, and I'm not even allowing myself to be myself. That's a huge clue. You're not all in, and this is coming to an end. But I wasn't ready to admit or own that. But those are the clues. I'm just telling you, those are the clues. You move when you're ready to move. That's okay. You're going to move. There's always forward movement. You can't. One thing I know for sure, we cannot stand still. You're either going to move forward or you're going to move backwards in such a place where you just got to move forward. You cannot go back any further. It's like, I can't be here. I can't be in this place where I am not being PJ fully, loving my friends, my family, showing up for them. I can't live like this anymore. I had gone far enough back until now I had to move forward. Even though moving forward was painful, there was the road that I needed to take. So I'm sharing this with you because I want you to understand how life works. It just works that way, and it gives you clues, and you know they're there, and you can recognize them and do something about them when you're ready. But you don't have to beat yourself up. And you can give yourself the time you need to make the decisions that need to be made. But I can tell you one thing. Spirit's not going to let up. It's not going to let up. It's not going to let up. It's going to keep happening. You're either going to keep moving forward, keep stepping back, until you say, I can't go back any further. I have to go ahead and walk through the fire of whatever this fire is, because I know there's fire coming. And I wasn't ready, but I walked through the fire so you can get to the other side where there's light, and not just fire that's burning, but light. There's light at the end of that tunnel. And so you just have to be brave and courageous and give yourself some grace. Give yourself some grace. So the title is Be All In Where You Are, because I want you to understand that that's how we live, all in. And if we are not all in, there's something happening. And we can pay attention when we're ready. You know in the back of your mind something is going on, something needs to be changed, you're not ready, and that's okay. Give yourself the time that you need to be ready. And when you are ready, the right move will come. Spirit will show you how, and you'll move forward. You always have Spirit on your side, and partners in believing. That's who we are for each other, partners in believing, okay? Because we know how it works. We've been in this a long time. We know how it works. We can share this with you, walk with you, and all of that. Emerson says that being yourself is the highest accomplishment because there's always someone out there trying to tell you to be something else. But being yourself is your highest accomplishment. Being yourself is being all in. That's what we're here to do. And so I try to give you 3 things to do, and one of them is just to give yourself some grace. Wherever you are, give yourself some grace. Know that you know. Number 2, you know. And it's okay if you don't want to look at it. But in the end, look at it and do what's yours to do. And so it is.
Thank you, PJ.